The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local. Welcome back, everyone, to Buying Local. I am your host, Mike Nelson. Each week, if you're a new listener, or I shouldn't say each week, but each episode, we interview local business owners, people that are involved in the community in different facets, and kind of help to try to amplify their voice and their message. So today, oh, and forgive me, I'm a little stuffy sounding here. My allergies are out of control. I don't know what it is, but so today we're joined by Stephen Zabala. Which we were just joking around. It's like my favorite. Every time I hear his name, I'm like, Zabala. Like, it's just a great last name. Stephen, welcome. Thanks for coming in, man.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
Yeah, absolutely. So Stephen's a pretty dynamic dude. He does all kinds of different stuff we're going to talk about today, including owning Greenfork, which is a meal prep and delivery service. And it's pretty cool. You got a cool format and amazing food. And you do catering and everything else, but I won't butcher that yet. Though we'll kind of get into it. So, Steve, I know you've got a pretty healthy resume of stuff that you're doing right now, right? So, why don't you kind of run us through all the things that you're up to?
Yeah, I do a lot. Pretty busy guy. I have two businesses. One is called Greenfork, and that's the meal prep, nutrition coaching, catering, food, healthy lifestyle kind of brand. And then I also do personal training, group coaching, and I have that under a business called Primal Fit. So between those two things and being a father, keeps me pretty busy.
Yeah. I forget that you've got a son, right?
Yeah.
How old is he?
He's 15.
15. My son's 15 as well. It's crazy, right?
Yeah, you've rolled with him in jiu-jitsu.
I rolled with your son?
Yeah.
Stop it.
Yeah, he's there.
That's funny.
Yep.
I had no idea.
Yep.
Did he tap me out?
I don't know. Did he?
I don't know.
He's pretty savage. Yeah.
I
mean, he's really into the same things that I'm into.
Yeah.
He exercises all the time. He eats clean. I got him working with me. So
that's cool, man.
He's really into his fitness, his health, and martial arts. He loves it.
Yeah. Building all those habits when you're young too, man. That is huge.
Yeah.
That's huge.
That's what I'm trying to do.
Yeah. And then, so of course, aside from jiu-jitsu, you've got the Budokan. Tell the listeners about Budokan, because that's just cool stuff, man.
Yeah. Budokan is a really it's mixed movement. You could say that yoga is what introduced me to it, because I was really into yoga for a while. Got my teacher training and all that, but it was lacking something for me.
Yeah.
I didn't like being stuck on the mat. I've always been an active guy and love exercise, love getting my heart rate up. So this Budokan is like a mix. This guy Cameron Shane invented it, but it's a mix of yoga, martial arts, animal movements, really dynamic, flowy type movements. And a little bit of dance, and then there's a philosophy aspect to it, which is really cool. So it's very all encompassing, and it's a quadrupedal movement. So you're on the floor, moving around, jumping around, pretending to be an animal. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, it's I always see when I was on social media, I'd always see the GMB fitness, and those kinds of movement patterns that were just so cool.
Yeah, there's GMB, there's Animal Flow, there's Budokan, there's this guy in Brazil that has been doing it for a super long time. I don't know what that's called. It's something gymnastica, whatever. But it's all just natural movement.
Yeah, kind of get the range of motion that you're supposed to be with your body and. Yeah, your joints and all that fun stuff.
I've heard it called yoga for CrossFitters.
Yoga for CrossFitters,
Just because some of it gets really intense. You're really running around the room, jumping around, beating your chest like a gorilla, and getting really into it. I love it.
Yeah,
I love it. Yeah.
Are you teaching that anywhere right now? Because no one offers those kinds of classes around here.
I know. There was a guy, Justin Wolfer.
Yeah.
Who used to really be into Budokan. He's the guy that actually introduced me to it.
No kidding.
Way back in the day. So he was offering it, and I think I'm going to do some workshops coming up soon, because I want to use the dojo maybe to get some people and do some workshops. I have offered the class before, pre-COVID. I had some numbers. I built up a nice class size, and then that kind of just all went away. So it is kind of an interesting, unique thing that you have to be into that sort of thing
Sure.
to really want to get into it. People look at it and they're like, "There's no way I can do that. It's so crazy." But but anybody can, you know.
Yeah.
So,
Just little baby steps in the beginning if you need, and work into it, right? I mean, that's kind of the point, is the process of going through those movements and learning them. But
starting from the ground up. It is a new movement system. It's totally different. But once you get it, you can, like, there's basic foundational principles, just like any system of movement or anything. Once you get that, you can play with it and make it your own, and it's super creative and fun and flowy, and it's just amazing. But anybody can do it. Yeah. So yes, I want to do some workshops coming up soon for sure.
Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. Stay tuned, everyone. I think it's really cool stuff. It's fascinating, and I know how much it can help your body too, from a standpoint of being able to, you know, if you're old like I am, trying to get your range of motion back, or, you know, even if you're just younger, trying to keep that range of motion there.
Yeah, healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah, people mix up, you know, flexibility and mobility all the time, and mobility is really the ability to get into, say, like a deep squat position and then be strong in that position. So your joints are strong in awkward positions. And you do jiu-jitsu, right? So you know you're in some weird positions. Yeah. And you have to be strong and from those positions. And so, you know, like your shoulder gets into some pretty wild spots, and again, you have to be strong and stable there. So it's really great for maintaining the healthy range of motion. Yeah,
I know, definitely. I need to do some hip work, man. My hips are killing me right now in jiu-jitsu. Like, they're so tight, can't get my range of motion, and
it's a really nice adjunct for martial arts. Yeah, for sure.
So, all right. So let's talk about Battleground.
Okay.
Right? Because you train over there.
Yeah, it's my friend Rebecca, who you should have on here. She's great.
Should. Yeah. Yes, Rebecca, please come on.
Yeah. She's really great. She opened it right after COVID.
Okay.
We trained together at a place called Fit Strength and Conditioning back in the day, pre-COVID. That gym unfortunately shut down. And then after, she started her own gym. Yeah. And that's been going since 2020. I've been helping her coach there since she opened.
Nice.
So I do group classes over there. I write the Wednesday workouts. So those are conditioning. It's like total body conditioning. So I get to put my flavor on it. We do some body weight movements like the animal flow, Budokan type of stuff. But I'm also a huge fan of kettlebells.
I was going to ask, because I know the stuff that I'd seen from you with that was a lot of kettlebell-centric stuff. Like, is it only kettlebells, or do you guys incorporate other stuff as well?
No, there's everything. Tons of everything. Wednesdays, that's my thing. I really love kettlebells. And, you know, but we do everything. I mean, we use barbells, trap bars, dumbbells, sandbags, bands, body weight, anything you can think of, really.
That's cool.
Yeah. So it's pretty comprehensive. It's strength and conditioning, classic strength and conditioning. Yeah. So, you know, deadlifts, squats, bench press, overhead press, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then that leads into your personal training stuff, right? So you do. Yeah. So tell us about how all that works. Like, do you train out of that gym, or do you go to people's houses? Like, how does that work?
A little bit of everything, actually. So I have a few clients where I'll go to their house. They prefer that. I also train out of my home gym in my garage. It's a pretty nice setup. But I also do train out of Battleground. So anywhere, really. During COVID, I was training out of the state park. Had classes going.
Oh, yeah?
So,
that's cool.
And stuff. It was cool. But, so I do personal training as well. That's actually, I've been doing that since 2016. I'm getting back now, giving my backstory a little bit. But I've been a chef my whole life. Grew up in Saratoga cooking in various restaurants. And I moved to Arizona in like 2016. And I was working culinary jobs out there. I landed a job at this place called Canyon Ranch. Super nice facility, health and wellness kind of retreat area. A lot of celebrities go there to kind of dry out a little bit. You know? So I was like, okay, this will be cool. You know, I have a degree in culinary nutrition. I've always been into that. So maybe here's an opportunity for me to use that degree. And it turned out to just be like the worst job I've ever had. So,
sweet.
So I left and had kind of a existential crisis. Like, what am I going to do? I don't want to cook anymore. I don't want to do this anymore. So I did my yoga teacher training, Baja, Mexico. 30 days on the beach. It was amazing.
Sounds awful.
Absolutely transformational. I mean, inside and out.
You had me at Baja, Mexico.
It was great. Yeah. Just eating like super clean food, yoga twice a day, meditation.
Sun, sand.
Yeah. It's amazing. That was great. But after that, I got back and did my personal training certification, started teaching yoga in Tucson, Arizona, started developing some one-on-one clients at a local gym, and then getting back to food. So I was doing that for about 6 months, and then my clients would come to me and say, you know, I'm not losing weight, or like I'm not achieving the results I want, and most of it was around their diet, their nutrition plan. And most of them didn't have time or energy or knowledge around food and nutrition. So I said, all right, well, let me do it for you. You know, I have this background in culinary. Let me just do your meal prep for you. You can pay me for it, and we'll do that. So I had about a dozen clients where I was doing that. And then the gym owners caught wind of that, and they wanted to work with me. So this is how Greenfork started. It's always been my idea through college and stuff, Greenfork. Got the tattoo on my arm here. Yeah. Fork with roots. So they caught wind of it, and they had 7 different locations in Tucson. And it was two guys extremely helpful to me. So they brought me in and were like, listen, we're doing all these 6-week challenges, you know? Yep. Remember when those were big, years ago, 2016? So 7 different gyms across the area, 6-week challenges. They had hundreds of clients, thousands across the city. And they said, we want you to do the food for all of it. So all the meal prep for the 6-week challenge based on these diet, you know, these restrictions that we're putting on these people. So I did. And that was like, my business went from 12 clients to, you know, 1,000.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It was crazy. So that's how Greenfork got started. And that's how I started personal training and yoga and everything. So it kind of just like making that choice to go from working in restaurants and working for other people to going full-blown entrepreneur. Kind of really just, it took off for me within a couple of years.
I think everybody should own their own business personally, but
it's great. I mean, it's a lot of work.
Yeah. It's not easy. Yeah. It's not for the faint of heart for sure. But I just feel that entrepreneurism is, you know, it's like the purest path to freedom, right? Like, you know, and, you know, it's not for everybody for sure. Not everybody wants to, you know, have that kind of freedom. Cause it also comes with a price, you know, certainly. But, yeah, I think everybody, if they can, they should.
You have to be driven. You have to really want it. You know, you can't. You have to be disciplined. You can't really mess around. You have to. Nobody's gonna write your schedule for you.
Right.
Nobody's gonna help you. You know.
Yeah. Sometimes all that freedom can really be a bad thing, man.
A lot of responsibility.
Yeah, for sure.
But so rewarding. It's so great.
And then, so you know, kind of moving towards talking about Greenfork. So, how did you end up back out here on the East Coast?
Family stuff. My son moved back here, and so I kind of had to pack up all that business that I had, which was thriving, and then move back here, which I did, you know. So moved back here, started working at a gym, doing group classes, which I had never done besides yoga. You know, I'd never taught group classes, so I did that for about a year, and then sure enough, you know, you talk about Greenfork, and ended up getting some clients, working one-on-one with them, ended up doing Greenfork out of my house, you know, starting out slow, and then it just caught wind, caught fire, ended up getting a place, doing that for a little while. I had a business partner for a little while, and it just grew from there. So it kind of grew almost the same way it did in Arizona, very organically. Well,
if you got a good product and good service and, you know, good, you know, people are going to want to use it, right?
Yeah, and I think you can't talk about fitness without talking about nutrition. You know, so you're in a gym, you spend an hour a day there. Well, what's the other 8 hours of your day look like? You know, or 23 hours rather, you know, like, are you eating good? Are you doing more movement than just in the gym? Are you hydrating? Are you sleeping well? There's so much to it. So, you know, my thing being nutrition and food, I want to be able to offer that to the community, to the world. And so what better place to meet people than in a gym? Yeah.
And so now you've got your location, you're based out of the mall, right? That's where your kitchen is.
Yep. In the Wilton Mall.
In the Wilton Mall, yeah. And, but you guys don't do any kind of dine-in service though. I want to make sure we said before people start showing up looking to, you know.
Yeah. We did try that. So they wanted us to be open in the mall, and we did try for several months. There just wasn't enough traffic.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately we sunk a bunch of money into like a new countertop. We made this nice wood countertop to go across. We built a sign, so we're geared for it. Like, we could do it, if I wanted to, but there's just not enough traffic.
Yeah.
And eventually, they're talking about putting those condos in there. If that happens, there's more traffic. Maybe we would open up. I would love to.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's just another.
Do a dine-in service, counter service.
Yeah, why not? There's the Planet Fitness right there, so you can come over and get a nice healthy lunch or whatever. I'd love to be able to offer that, but the demand right now isn't so much, and I'm doing fine with what I'm doing already. So
and so if I'm not mistaken, tell us a little bit about the services that you are offering through Greenfork.
Greenfork, yeah. So right now, just a meal prep service, right? So we do 6 different meals and some snacks and bone broths and stuff. So 6 different meals, 2 chicken, 2 turkey, and 2 beef each week. And you can choose to do a subscription or you can order a la carte. So you can go on my website, eatgreenfork.com. Everything's listed there. It tells you how to order, the process and everything. But I try to mix up the menu every 6 weeks to be seasonal. And the meals are prepackaged, pre-portioned. Portion control is a huge thing, right?
Yep.
The whole idea. Fully cooked in eco-friendly containers. You just throw it in the microwave for 2-3 minutes, and you have a nice hot meal.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And now, are people able to customize the meal plans based around their own personal nutrition, or how does that work?
No, not really, because
unless they want to pay extra, right?
Yeah, that's a lot,
Yeah.
So the way that I structured it is pretty broad. I paint a broad stroke nutrition-wise. So everything is gluten-free. Everything is dairy-free. You can order a vegan option, and all the accompaniments are also made vegan. So and it's pretty straightforward across the board. It's whole food. It's real food. We don't use a lot of things that cause allergies. We don't use a lot of allergens. So in that way, it's good for anybody to eat. I mean, we do 5 ounces of protein, 3.5 ounces of carbs, and a handful of non-starchy vegetables. So each meal is about 40 grams of protein and about 500 calories-ish in total. So it's good for most people, you know, unless you have a specific need, like you need way more protein or something, it covers most bases. So individual nutrition plans, no, but another service that we offer is nutrition coaching. So I will work with you, say you needed help figuring out this whole nutrition thing. There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of bullshit out there. You want to work with a nutritionist or a dietitian or somebody, you would come to me and I would help you break down your nutrient needs, your macronutrient needs, and explain that whole process to you and help you, get on the right path there.
Yeah. So, so as far as like who this service is really good for, right? It's good for, you don't have to be a pro athlete to take advantage of this kind of, just someone who just wants to improve their nutrition, doesn't have the time. Like who are some of the people that you're working with?
Honestly, anybody could benefit from this, right? Mostly people that care about their health. If you're somebody that cares about your health and wellness, then you're going to be drawn to clean eating, right? But I do sponsor some athletes. I've sponsored triathletes in the past. Cool. Alex Basso, you know her? Yeah. Yeah. Don Walton, who you just had on this podcast.
Yeah.
I helped him with his first pro fight. Cutting weight is really hard to do.
Yeah.
He had to drop like 30 pounds in a couple of months.
Cutting weight without starving yourself and completely destroying your body.
Yeah. And it's tough to do. And it's not something I would do with a normal person, but a pro athlete in that sport, you got to do it. So I helped him. I gave him all the food that he needed. I gave him some supplements. I helped him a little with his training, and got him down. He made weight, and then the recovery process afterwards too. That's a big deal. You can't just lose 30 pounds and be skin and bones, and then just start mowing down cheeseburgers and milkshakes.
It's funny. Years ago, a buddy of mine was doing some of the like fitness competitions, and he did the whole thing with eating clean, training for however a year or 8 months or 6 months or whatever it was, and then he went to the event. He did well in the event, and then when the event was over, he went right for the cheeseburger and fries and blah blah blah, and then had like this crazy edema thing happening in his legs where he like had to go to the hospital because he thought his leg was gonna basically like explode because it was so swollen. Because all of a sudden all that sodium and water was getting pumped in there, and his body just didn't know how to handle it.
Yeah, you got to be really careful, especially when you're drying your body out like that for competition. For bodybuilding.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get down to like, less than 3% body fat, and that is dangerous.
Dangerous.
And so you have to recover properly. So you have to reverse diet. That's super important. But, you don't have to be a pro athlete. You don't have to be, a fighter or whatever. If you're just a busy person and like to eat clean on the go, these meals are just 2 minutes in the microwave. You could even eat them cold.
Yeah.
So anybody who's busy, anybody who wants to eat clean but doesn't know how to do that.
Like I'm running down here. I'm like stopped by my house, grabbed a thing of pasta salad, which I don't ever eat pasta, but it was like the only thing I had in my fridge that was cold and I could grab. So I was like, shit, I guess I'm eating pasta.
Yeah.
And, and then I'm like slamming it down in the car as I'm driving down here. But
yeah, sometimes you got to do what you got to do, right?
That's basically just poisoned myself, I feel like, but whatever.
Yeah, it could be worse.
But it's that kind of stuff though, right? I mean, it's, it doesn't, you don't have to be in fitness or be super, just you're a person that's got a crazy schedule like we do.
Like,
and
like entrepreneurs. I mean, I benefit so much from my own meals. I make extra so I can take them home because, my girlfriend, my son, and we all live together, and we are eating them constantly. Yeah. Just because we're always so busy, all of us.
Yeah. I mean, you and I've geeked out a little bit about food, and I'm a big nutrition geek. Mm-hmm. I obviously don't have your knowledge or expertise or that stuff, but I love listening to podcasts, love reading up on nutrition and different things that go on. And I've done every kind of food experiment on my body that you can do basically over the last 15 years, whether it was eating paleo or keto or all these different kinds of things over the years and trying different things. I went vegan for a while, vegetarian a few times. And just trying to experiment to see what worked for my body, got big in intermittent fasting, but a huge fan of fasting, and all the benefits that come along with that. But then I did listen to a podcast recently with some experts, on, I think it was on Huberman. You listen to Huberman?
Yeah, it's great.
Love his podcast. Amazing. He had a guy on talking about fasting though. And the guy was basically like, listen, like there's really no benefit of intermittent fasting compared to just caloric reduction. He's like, there's no magic thing about what time of day you're eating. He's like, it's just about reducing the amount of calories that you're eating at any given point in time. But
basically that's it. It's calories in versus calories out. And that's a super general, simplistic way of putting it. But it's very fair to say that that's all that really matters. Now, where things like special diets do help is, like intermittent fasting, for example, it puts a time restriction on when you can eat. So if you didn't do that, you didn't have the discipline to say, I'm only going to eat 6 hours a day. You'd be eating all day. You might end up eating 2,000 more calories.
Way more calories,
right? And that just affects your calorie deficit. So many different ways to skin the cat there. Yeah. And it really depends on your individual needs, your lifestyle, your morals, all kinds of different things that can affect it. But calories in versus calories out is plain and simple.
I recently tried to put breakfast. So I've been an intermittent fasting guy for years now, right?
Yeah.
So typically I'll eat my last meal somewhere around, we'll say 7 o'clock at night. And then I don't eat again until before noon the next day. That's my rule, right? I can eat at noon if I want, or sometimes it ends up being 1 or 2 or 3 or whatever it is. But, about, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 months ago, I listened to that podcast about like, doesn't matter what time. I'm like, oh, all right, I'm going to try breakfast out. I can't eat breakfast.
Yeah,
I put on
so used to.
My body is so used to what I do now that I put on so much weight almost immediately because I was eating breakfast and then I was eating lunch and then I was eating dinner. So I just added an extra meal in there instead of like right now I pretty much eat 2 meals. I eat a lunch and then I eat a dinner and we're calling it quits. But it messed me all up, man. So I'm back on the don't eat before noon train.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. If that's what your body's become accustomed to, and, it just depends on what your goals are too. Yeah. If you let's say you don't want to lose weight and you want to gain weight. Well, you want to gain some muscle. You're going to have to eat more.
Yeah.
And a lot of people...
More of the right stuff.
More of the right stuff, right. I have people that come to me that their goal is to get bigger and gain muscle. A lot of people in the fitness world, and so they're used to... Women mostly are used to eating less and less and starving themselves, right? It's like, no, here's the idea. We're going to work out hard and we're going to feed your body with the fuel that it needs. You're going to watch yourself grow. You're going to watch the body fat shrink and your muscles grow. And that's the look you're going for. You don't want to starve yourself too much.
No, you're going to have the opposite effect.
Yeah, definitely.
Opposite effect. So you guys are doing your meal service.
Yep.
Right. And then, but you're still doing catering too, right?
I'll do some catering, yeah,
Little
just for friends and stuff. People reach out, different events and stuff we like to be at, CrossFit events, and, anything that can help me spread the awareness
of the meal prep stuff. Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Because I know that you catered some food for us for our party last year. It was freaking amazing, dude.
Yeah.
It was so good, and I was so pissed because like everybody was eating I think it was like a short rib.
Okay. Yeah.
Was it a short rib?
Yeah, it was like some sort of braised beef.
Yeah. And it was so good. And I was like, ooh, I'm going to have leftovers. I'm going to eat this for like a week. And then like there were no leftovers, man. Everybody ate the food on me, and I was pissed.
Should have made more.
I know. That was so funny. You have a party catered, then you're like, I don't want anyone to eat the food because I want to eat it myself. But
yeah. Well, we aim to please, I like to do catering events here and there. Like I said, we had one called the Masters Classic down in Fraternity.
Yeah.
That was really cool because we get to feed these athletes and be a part of their growth. And
what a great group of people they are down there at Fraternity. Yeah. I photographed them a bunch, and they're just all so great. And those guys will be doing workouts that are just murdering them, and they're still smiling and laughing and having a good time. Yeah.
So I wanted to get into the gyms that we partnered with that helped me spread the word, but just on that point, I walk in there the past few months, these guys have been going super hard. I walk in there at 6 a.m. to make my Monday deliveries, and they're going nuts. Clean and squat and jerk, and the gym is packed and the music's raging.
Yeah, man.
I'm getting out of my car listening to a quiet podcast or something, and it's like a kick in the face when I walk in the door. It's great. I love it.
Yeah, they got great people, great gym.
Very supportive people help me out. Like I said, I partnered with these different gyms everywhere from Albany up the Northway, Clifton Park, Saratoga, up in Lake George. So that has helped me spread the word too.
Yeah.
So if you're somebody that lives in the capital area, not necessarily in Saratoga, and you want to try Greenfork, you can get it delivered Albany, Latham, 2 spots in Clifton Park, Saratoga, and Lake George.
Okay.
Yeah.
And now when you say to get it delivered, you're going to deliver it to those drop points, or they'll get it delivered right to their house?
To the drop points.
To the drop points, got it. So they could go to their gym or a gym close by them if they don't even go to that gym, doesn't matter. But and they can go pick it up there.
Right, and that allows me to spread my reach a little bit further and help more people, and it also saves me from having to drive door to door in Albany. Yeah, I'm not going to do that.
What's the price point? I'm sure that, and which I'm sure it fluctuates depending on food costs and things like that. But
I've set it at 14. I started at 12 years ago, and I've only raised the price by $1 twice, and that's just because of inflation.
Well, your food costs had to have gone up.
They did
stupid amounts,
quite a bit. Yeah, especially during COVID.
Yeah,
it got a little crazy there.
Yeah, between deliveries and supply chain problems. And
everything turkey used to be $3.99. Now it's $8. So.
I gotta tell you, I don't know if you'll know the answer to this, but I'm at the grocery store on Friday, and I'm looking, I'm looking at steak, and I'm looking at burger, and I'm just looking at the prices, which are ridiculous. And anyone that goes in the grocery store knows it's absolutely ridiculous. Yeah. And then I see chicken breast, and there it was probably, it's a half breast, right? Mm-hmm. And there must have been, I don't know, 8 or 9 of them in the package, and it was $8.99. And I'm trying to figure out how that chicken is so cheap. Is it even real chicken at that point?
It's not good. You don't want that chicken.
Right? That's what I'm like, do I buy this right now? I'm like, this is stupid cheap, but what are they feeding that chicken?
Yeah, it's kind of gross.
Yeah, right?
They pump them full of hormones and stuff to make them grow real quick, and they feed them the cheapest stuff they can find. And the chicken tastes like rubber, and that's how they sell it so cheap.
Yeah.
It's gross.
Yeah, I was perplexed.
Yeah, we don't use that stuff. We use really good, meat. Yeah, we try to get as clean and as fresh as possible, with all the ingredients that we use. It's really tough, though. We could probably have a whole conversation on the state of agriculture.
Yeah, we could.
In the world and in the U.S., and it's scary and it's terrible. But, I think one of the best things you can do is to support local, buy as local as possible.
100%.
And just be aware of that stuff, good versus what's really good,
Yeah.
So everything we do is antibiotic free. It's hormone free. I would really love to use local products, local chicken stuff.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, the farms aren't big enough to supply what I need.
I was going to say, I think probably is it Buckley's over in
There's Buckley's. They can't supply. I need like 40 pounds of chicken breast.
Yeah.
A week.
Yeah.
They can't do it. And Misty Knoll could, but they're very expensive.
Yeah.
So I get the best products that I can. I work with a company, Performance, that works with regional farms. Yep. So I do the best I can.
Yeah.
Within the matrix of the agricultural system.
Yeah. I go on a whole kick about factory farms right now, man. I'll tell you.
I'm sure you could.
Put my tinfoil hat on and start talking about how I'm trying to extricate myself from shopping at the grocery store. That's like my mission in life right now.
Yeah, be a locavore. Right?
Yeah.
That's one of the best ways to do it,
Locavore. I've never heard that term. I love it. I need a hat that says locavore.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've got this theory on how we should all be eating regionally, and locally, and we could totally self-sustain that way. But the thing is, you wouldn't be able to have tomatoes in the winter,
right?
It just wouldn't work,
or avocados at all. And I love avocados.
Yeah,
man.
You'd have to sacrifice quite a bit.
That's a tough one.
Yeah,
I don't know. We'll figure it out.
Yeah. There's a lot of cool ideas around that stuff, and if you dig into, there's some good to it. There's a lot of history and things that you can learn from the follies of the agricultural system and the way that we've done it so far. Mm-hmm. Rape and pillage the earth and have all these huge monocrop farms. There are better ways to do it, and a lot of folks are starting to wake up to that.
No-till regenerative farming, man. Yeah. That's what we're working on out at the farm.
That's great.
It's creating that no-till regenerative system that just gets everything back kind of into balance the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah, biodiversity, make the soil better.
Not using inputs, chemical inputs like fertilizers and all those things in order to keep you don't need it if you're doing certain things on your farm with livestock and everything else. So
right. And if you take it, use that chicken breast for example, but transfer it over to like a carrot, right? So an industrial grown carrot that's huge and it's super cheap is mostly water. There's no nutrients in that carrot. But if you take a carrot from your farm, where it's been fed with tons of good nutrients, fresh soil, it's going to be tasting way better, but also much more full of nutrients.
Yeah, healthy.
I
recently read an article about these oranges coming out of, I won't say where they're coming out of, but oranges with no vitamin C in them.
Yeah.
Because they're growing these things with just chemical inputs. And while they're technically growing an orange, they're growing an orange with no nutritional value whatsoever. It's crazy.
Yeah, that's sad too.
Yeah. Yeah, it's scary.
So that's my goal really, is to just help spread knowledge more than anything, right? Like I can cook for you, I can provide your meals. But really what I want to do in this community is be a voice of knowledge, in terms of real food nutrition.
Yeah.
How can you apply these food rules, to quote Michael Pollan, who's one of my favorite food authors.
Yeah.
How can you apply them and just make good choices about what you're eating, Because knowledge is power, right? It goes a long way.
Yeah.
And so there's, like I said before, there's so much misinformation and so much garbage out there regarding nutrition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really quite simple. And so if I can educate people on that and empower the community, I think that's like the intro to this podcast, right?
Yeah.
It's like, start small and support your local community, and then that helps the whole world grow.
Absolutely.
So
yeah, if you want to change the world, buy local. That's all you got to do, man.
Right, and be a local voice, like teach.
Yep.
Yeah.
Help everybody out. Yeah, it's amazing. Just how many people are ignorant of like what food does in your body and how it reacts in your body, and bad food and good food, and why, like what eating all that stuff from the grocery store really is doing to your body. Like,
yeah,
it's pretty gross.
Yeah, if you know where it comes from and exactly what it is and what it's doing to your body, you probably won't want to eat it.
No.
And so many people just don't have the education around that, so they don't know. So they think a hot dog is a good choice. It's not.
Or like eating, I won't use the brand name, but there's meat sticks that we all love, and then you look under, there's like things in there that are endocrine disruptors, and it's like, do you know what an endocrine disruptor does to your body? Because if you did, you wouldn't be enjoying that meat stick ever again.
I mean, ever since I actually learned about nutrition and what food really is, I don't look at it the same anymore. You know, there's certain things that I just won't touch at all. I look at it and I think it's gross.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of things that come in packages are no good. That's a pretty simple rule to follow.
Yep.
Yeah. But in terms of like actual real food too, like I look at everything is in terms of proteins, carbs, and fats, and like try to eat a rainbow. And so it's kind of skewed my my vision on food and reality, I guess, in a way. It's hard sometimes to enjoy food when you're like, oh no, I need to get this much protein in. So.
Yeah. Well, that's what Greenfork does, though, right? That helps people not have to worry about that. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and like I said, more than anything, my vision for Greenfork is to be a force in the community for spreading knowledge around nutrition and food and healthy eating and that type of stuff.
That's awesome.
Wellness in general. Yeah.
So, if people want to find you, maybe they're interested in your meal prep service or maybe personal training or all the amazing things that you do. How do they find you?
You can go on my website. It's eatgreenfork.com. On Instagram as Greenfork Eats. And my personal Instagram where I do some of my fitness stuff is Zabala_PRML. And you can find me on Facebook too, Stephen Zabala.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you coming in, man, taking time to talk with us and tell us about what you're doing.
Yeah, thank you very much. And thanks for being who you are and spreading the word on local businesses.
We're trying. It's
super important. You know, like I talked about eating local, you also need to support your local businesses and keep things in the community as much as you can.
100%.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
All right.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Stephen. Until next time, check us out. You can find us pretty much anywhere you get podcasts these days, Spotify, Apple, Google. And you can also get us on our websites, whether it's SaratogaBusinessReport.com, GlensFallsToday.com, and I think we may even have a listing on SaratogaTodayNewspaper.com as well. So check us out, everybody. Thank you.
D'Orazio Peterson Law Firm. They believe in educating individuals about their legal rights, empowering them to stand up for those rights, and guiding them towards the right decision in difficult situations. Because legal problems are never one size fits all.
The superpower that every citizen has is the ability to control where they spend their time, money, and attention. By focusing these on supporting local businesses, you are having a profound impact on your friends, your family, and your local community. So if you want to change the world, you can start with buying local.